Hello, my name is Blade, and this is what I watched in June. Honestly, this is a great month for these little videos I do because I liked what I watched at home way more than what I watched in theaters this month, so let's get into it. Also, just really quick, if you're new here, these are movies that were new to me this month, but not including new releases. I started the month off on a wacky note with some body horror as I watched David Cronenberg's Videodrome. This has been on the watch list for quite some time because I could be wrong, but I feel like as far as body horror goes, this is a must watch. I wasn't sure what to expect, and yet I somehow was still surprised. It just wasn't at all what I thought it was going to be about. However, that being said, I do like what it had to say. This is definitely one of those cases of the themes aging like fine wine to the point where the themes are maybe more relevant than ever. I wasn't anticipating the more erotic undertones, but I liked their inclusion. Obviously, there's some cool effects in this movie even beyond the body horror. There's some really sick, bizarre imagery. I don't think it's a perfect movie. To me, it does lull at some points, and the writing could be just a hair stronger, but overall, I enjoyed my time with it to the point where it is going to become a part of my physical media collection. I did in fact purchase it as part of the Barnes& Noble Criterion Summer Sale, which is still going on, hopefully by the time this video comes out, so snatched up. Next up, I was delighted to stumble upon To Die For on Netflix. I had heard of it before and seen the poster several times, but what I didn't realize before watching it was that it was directed by Gus Van Sant, who directed my favorite movie, Drugstore Cowboy. On top of that, I love Matt Dillon, who stars in Drugstore Cowboy, and he teams up again with Gus in To Die For, so I was happily surprised by that as well. The first thing I have to say off the bat here is holy shit, this is a stellar performance from Nicole Kidman. This is some Oscar level stuff. I understand why she didn't get the nomination at the time, but I also definitely see why this is the one that put her on the map. Unfortunately, this character cannot enter the Girl Boss Hall of Fame because she does get into some muddy moral territory. Now, murdering your husband to be a TV anchor is bad enough, but she does some truly, like, big bad no-no stuff. By the way, that is not a spoiler. It's quite literally what the plot of the movie is, you know, within, like, the first 5 minutes. Outside of the actors, though, I love the filmmaking here. There's some great camera work. I dig the writing, but most of all, I thought it was really cool that the scoring was straight up rock music. That was really cool to see in a film that's not necessarily metal or punk otherwise. Also, the Season of the Witch needle drop at the end was just chef's kiss. Great movie. Am I happy this movie is now in my life? Yes. Am I upset it hasn't been up until now? Also, very much so, yes. I followed up To Die For with 1994's The Crow. I've wanted to watch this movie forever, but it's so hard to come by for some reason. I'm pretty sure at one point or another my dad played this for me as a kid, but this is my first time like truly doing a dedicated watch as an adult, so it's pretty much the first time. There's really not much to say other than I love this. I need a poster on my wall immediately. I'm sure this isn't for everybody, and I could see how some people probably think the look of it is aged, but this is just my personal cup of tea. It has me written all over it. I love the filming style. I love the metal music video look of it. This might come off as a surprise based off of like my other taste I've expressed on the channel, but I am a sucker for this type of action movie and the fight sequences. The best part, though, is obviously Brandon Lee. His acting and the martial arts are great, but the way they wrote this character and the personality he gave him, y'all, I was just drinking it up. I was also very impressed at how well this movie was completed considering the circumstances. It didn't feel unfinished, nor did I notice when it was his body double. It's really tragic how Brandon Lee passed, but I'm glad this film has left him with a great legacy. So here's the hot take of the video, I suppose. Next on the lineup is 1991's Career Opportunities. Before going in, I didn't realize this was written by John Hughes, which was a nice surprise. So now for the hot take. I really liked this, which doesn't sound like much of a hot take, but when I went to log this film on Letterboxd, I was very shocked to see that it's sitting at a 2.9. Personally, I gave it a 3.5. Some fun lore here is I've been wanting to watch this movie for a while, but not because it was suggested to me or like I saw it in like a recommendations or anything. The way that I've been wanting to watch this is I saw footage from this film in a fan video for the Midnight's song Sunset, and then I also love Jennifer Connelly, so since then I've been wanting to watch it. I liked this movie more than most, apparently. The dialogue style worked for me. I thought there was some cool camera work. The way Jennifer was filmed specifically looked really great. I think they really made use of her, I guess you could say, just beauty and allure very well. There were several times I looked at the movie and was like, face card never declines. What did surprise me was that it did sort of turn into a single location movie. I did think there would be more to it than that, and I imagine that's what people don't like about it. It doesn't go much of anywhere outside of that, and we definitely could have fleshed out the characters a bit more, but I personally just had a fun time with this. So I had a pretty strong run with To Die For, The Crow, and Career Opportunities. Maybe not in terms of quality or like general consensus, but in my personal liking. That run did get a bit derailed with True Romance, so maybe that's actually the hot take of the video. That being said, before the pitchforks are raised, I did like this movie and thought it was very strong. I think this is just one of those cases where it didn't fully personally resonate. I really loved the opening of this movie and it had me very hooked. Like the first 15, 20 or so minutes I was really into. But the next 20 or so minutes of the movie, I feel like it hits a lull or changes a bit from what it was in the beginning, so it lost me. By the end of the movie, it did gain me back and I was thoroughly enjoying myself. I just can't help but be a bit disappointed by the middle-ish act of the film. All of that being said, Christian Slater and Patricia Arquette are amazing in this, and the Tarantino flavor is definitely there, and the ending rocks pretty hard. Also, love stoner Brad Pitt. This is maybe one that I think I'm gonna revisit and like I don't know, like just that middle part threw me off, so maybe I need to just like rewatch it, like kind of knowing what's gonna happen. If you didn't notice, everything up until this point has been from before the 2000s. I didn't do this on purpose, but it would have been cool if I accidentally kept that up for the whole month, but alas, I did not because I ended the month off with last year's Rabbit Trap. Now, in my defense, this has been on my radar since it premiered at Sundance last year, and as a certified Dev Patel fan, I had to watch. But besides that, I basically went in blind. I hadn't even seen a trailer. So I was not expecting a Welsh folk horror, but I'm not mad. I'm also never mad at a movie that utilizes sound as a key plot element. The two main characters are a married couple that work together on the wife's music, so there's some cool music moments as well as some Foley work moments that I really enjoyed as a music nerd. This is very much so a slow burn, so it's not gonna be for everyone. I will say I was not expecting it to go anywhere that it did, but once I realized what it was getting at in like more of like the subtextual stuff, I did come to really appreciate it. This probably isn't something I'll return to, but was an interesting watch that was worth the wait. Well, that's all for the month of June. As I mentioned, I apparently was only interested in films released in the 80s and 90s this month, but as we know, that is where the heat is indeed at anyway. I definitely enjoyed what I watched at home way more than the theater releases this month. Just no shade, but the releases this month were just kind of fine. Anyways, that's pretty much all for now. If you're new here, I do one of these videos every month, as well as reviews, video essay also every month, and I am a small indie filmmaker myself, so there's that. If you want to support me, just stick around, like, comment, subscribe, but that's it for now, so I will see you in the next one.